Hello everyone. In this video, we will crochet this small pumpkin-shaped napkin, which can be just a decoration or a coaster for your favorite cup. Happy crocheting, and may you have easy stitches. I will be crocheting with 2 strands of cotton yarn using a 2.5mm hook. First, we make a chain of 19 chain stitches. First row. Starting from the second stitch from the hook, crochet single crochet into the back loops of the chain stitches. Make 17 single crochets, leaving 1 single crochet unworked. We crochet 3 single crochet stitches. I crochet not into the back loop of the chain stitches, but as usual into the top half loop. We will now proceed to the next step, ensuring that we are working on the opposite side of the chain. Our goal is to create a chain that is similar in appearance and function by carefully crocheting into the back loops of the stitches. For this, we will make a total of 17 single crochet stitches to complete the second row of our project. 1 chain stitch in turn. Then we will crochet all rows only through the back loops. We crochet 17 single crochets. We have reached the middle of our crochet project. Now we carefully and meticulously crochet 3 connecting stitches, ensuring that we work also in the back loops. Then we proceed to crochet 17 single crochet stitches, continuing this pattern all the way to the end of the row. In the third row, we make 2 chain stitches and turn our work. Starting to crochet in the second stitch from the hook, we crochet 1 stitch. Then we continue to crochet another 17 single crochet stitches, resulting in a total of 18 stitches on this side. Next, we have reached the middle of our project once again. Now we crochet 3 connecting stitches, making sure to maintain consistency. All work is done in the back loops. Next, continue crocheting from the other side with 17 single crochet stitches, also into the back loops. Fourth row, 2 chain stitches and turn. We start from the second chain stitch from the hook. We make 1 single crochet stitch. Crochet 15 more single crochet stitches. In total, there will be 16 on this side. Now we crochet 2 single crochet stitches into 1 increase. Then we knit 5 connecting stitches. Once more, you will need to increase and then proceed to crochet a total of 16 single crochets. This step is crucial for building the foundation of your crochet piece. Moving on to row 5, Begin by making one chain stitch, which will help you turn your work smoothly. After turning, carefully crochet 18 single crochets. This row is important for adding structure and stability to your project. Remember to maintain even tension throughout to ensure a consistent and professional finish. We again once more carefully work 5 slip stitches. To begin with, you will need to continue crocheting a total of 18 single crochet stitches all the way to the very end of row number 6. Once you have reached the end of this row, you will then need to make a chain stitch. After completing the chain stitch, you should turn your work around to prepare for the next row. In this new row, you will crochet 17 single crochet stitches. Following these stitches, you will need to make an increase, which involves adding an extra stitch to your work. Next, you will perform 5 slip stitches. A slip stitch is a simple stitch that is used to move the yarn to a different position without adding height to your work. After the slip stitches, you will make another increase, adding yet another stitch. Finally, you will crochet 17 more single crochet stitches to reach the end of this row. Remember, each step is crucial to ensure the pattern is followed correctly and the final piece turns out as expected. Row 7. Begin by making 1 chain stitch, then turn your work, knit a total of 18 stitches, ensuring each stitch is even. After completing these, knit 7 slip stitches. Slip stitches are made by moving the stitch from the left needle to the right without knitting. Knit 18 more stitches until the end of the row. Eighth row. From this row, we will start shortening the rows. 1 chain stitch and turn. Skip 1 stitch and starting from the next stitch, work 16 single crochet stitches. To begin, you will need to increase the number of stitches by knitting 7 slip stitches. This is an essential step in the process. Once you have completed this, you will then proceed to increase the number of stitches again. This time, you will knit a total of 16 stitches. Continue this pattern of increasing and knitting until you reach the end of the row. Make sure to maintain a consistent tension throughout to ensure an even and professional finish to your knitting project. Here we do not complete one column. Row 9, chain stitch and turn, skip 1 column. Now we knit 17 columns. In the middle section of our knitting project, we begin by knitting a total of 7 slip stitches. This is a crucial step that helps to create a seamless transition in the pattern. After completing these slip stitches, we proceed to continue the row by knitting 17 columns. However, it is important to note that we do not complete the final column in this sequence, leaving it intentionally unfinished for the next steps. Moving on to row 10, we start by making 1 chain stitch and then turn our work to begin the new row. We skip the first column, which is a strategic move to maintain the pattern's integrity. Next, we knit 14 columns, ensuring each stitch is even and consistent. In the middle of this row, we perform an increase, which involves adding an extra stitch to expand the width of the piece. Following this, we knit 9 slip stitches, which are essential for maintaining the texture and flow of the design. After completing these slip stitches, we perform another increase, similar to the previous one, to further enhance the pattern. We then continue knitting the row with an additional 14 columns, taking care to maintain the same tension and stitch size throughout. As with the earlier step, we do not complete the final column, leaving it open for future adjustments. This detailed process ensures that the knitting project progresses smoothly and accurately, adhering to the intended design and structure. In row 11 of your knitting project, you will begin by making 1 chain stitch and then turning your work to the other side. This is an essential step to ensure the continuity of your pattern. Next, you will skip 1 stitch, which helps in maintaining the correct stitch count and pattern alignment. After skipping, proceed to knit 15 stitches. This forms the main body of your row and should be done with consistent tension to ensure evenness. In the middle section of this row, you will knit 9 slip stitches. Slip stitches are crucial as they provide a neat edge and help in shaping the fabric. Make sure to keep your tension even to avoid puckering. This row is foundational for the subsequent rows, so take your time to execute each step carefully. Knit 15 stitches to the end of the row. In the 12th row of your knitting project, you will need to leave 1 stitch unknitted. This is an important step to ensure the pattern develops correctly. After leaving this stitch, proceed to make 1 chain stitch. This chain stitch acts as a turning point for your work. Once the chain stitch is complete, turn your work around to prepare for the next sequence of stitches. Now, skip the first stitch you encounter and begin knitting the next 13 stitches. This forms the base of your row. As you reach the middle of this section, you will need to make an increase. This increase is crucial for shaping your project and should be done carefully. After the increase, continue by knitting 9 slip stitches. These slip stitches help in maintaining the tension and structure of your knitting. Following this, make another increase to balance the pattern. Finally, knit the remaining 13 stitches to complete the row. Remember to leave the last stitch unknitted, as this will help in maintaining the edge of your work. Row 13, 1 chain stitch and turn, skip 1 column, knit 13 columns. Mid, we crochet 11 slip stitches. Knit 13 columns to the end of the row. Pull. Do not complete one column. Row 14. 1 chain stitch and turn. Carefully skip 1 column and knit 11 columns. In the middle of our project, we need to make an increase by carefully working 11 slip stitches. This is an important step to ensure the correct shape and size of the piece. Once we have completed this increase, we proceed to make another increase, which is crucial for maintaining the pattern's consistency. We then continue to the end of the row, working diligently with 11 columns. It's important to note that 1 column is intentionally left unworked to achieve the desired effect. This unworked column plays a key role in the overall design, allowing for the necessary adjustments in the pattern. Row 15, 1 chain stitch and a continuation. To begin this section of your knitting project, you will need to skip 1 stitch. This step is crucial as it helps to maintain the pattern's alignment and ensures that the final product has a neat and professional appearance. After skipping the stitch, proceed to knit 12 stitches. This involves inserting the right-hand needle into the first stitch on the left-hand needle, wrapping the yarn around the right-hand needle, and pulling it through to create a new stitch. Repeat this process for a total of 12 stitches. Next, you will knit 11 slip stitches in the middle of your row. Slip stitches are used to create a smooth transition and add texture to your knitting. They are made by transferring a stitch from the left-hand needle to the right-hand needle without knitting it. This technique is often used in patterns to create a decorative effect. Finally, continue knitting 12 stitches until you reach the end of the row. This consistent repetition of stitches helps to ensure that your knitting remains even and uniform, contributing to the overall quality and appearance of your finished piece. Do not finish 1 stitch. And the last row, 16, 1 chain stitch and turn, skip 1 stitch, knit 10 stitches. Increase. Eleven slip stitches in the middle. To continue with your knitting, start by making an increase in your stitches and keep doing this until you reach the end of the row. Once you have done that, proceed to knit 10 stitches. However, make sure not to complete the very last stitch in this sequence. At this point, you should carefully cut the yarn. After cutting the yarn, use a needle to hide all the loose tails of yarn that remain. This step is important to ensure a neat and tidy finish to your knitting project. Paying attention to these details is crucial for achieving a professional-looking result. By following these instructions, you will maintain the integrity of your knitting work and ensure that it looks polished and complete. So, the pumpkin itself is now completely ready and prepared for the next step. Now, let's proceed to knit the tail, which is an essential part of the pumpkin's overall appearance. We need to carefully work 9 slip stitches on the upper part of the pumpkin. We find the beginning of our pumpkin right here. This will be the 5th stitch, and we count 4 more to the right, meaning we will attach it somewhere at this peak where we elongated the stitches. The yarn is also doubled for added strength and durability. I make a loop and work the first slip stitch into the peak. Then, I knit to the middle to make 5 stitches and continue knitting 4 more to the left. This process ensures that the tail is securely attached and looks aesthetically pleasing. To the top where we extended the row from the other side. To begin, we have a total of 9 slip stitches. It's important to note that we do not create a chain stitch when we are making the turn. Instead, we skip over 1 stitch entirely. After skipping that stitch, we proceed to knit 8 slip stitches, and we do this by knitting through the back loops of each stitch. This technique ensures a neat and tidy finish. Once we have completed these steps, we make another turn to continue with our pattern. Remember, each step is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the design. So take your time to ensure accuracy. Again, we do not make a chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch and knit 6 slip stitches. Again, slowly and carefully turn, then skip 1 stitch and crochet 5 slip stitches. So the workpiece is turned to us with the wrong side facing. We continue to crochet and chain 9 air stitches. Now, in the 4th stitch from the hook, we crochet a double crochet. And 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Let's move on to the next part of our crochet project. We will be working with the remaining 5 stitches in our current row. For each of these stitches, you will need to crochet 2 double crochets. This involves inserting your hook into the stitch, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over again, and pulling through 2 loops, then yarning over once more and pulling through the final 2 loops on your hook. Repeat this process for each of the 5 stitches. After completing this step, it's important to turn the pumpkin so that it is facing you. This orientation is crucial for the next steps. Now, you will need to skip the first 3 double crochets that you see. In the 4th double crochet, you will make a slip stitch. To do this, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull through both the stitch and the loop on your hook. This slip stitch will secure your work in place. By following these detailed instructions, you ensure that your crochet project maintains its intended shape and structure, which is essential for the overall design. We cut the thread and hide all the tails using a needle. The pumpkin can be steamed a little. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Whiteness for your creativity. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell and share with friends. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. And goodbye everyone.